Grand Theft Auto V San Andreas just doesn't hit as hard as Grand Theft Auto San Andreas as San Andreas. You smell me? I beat GTA V's story for the first time a couple months ago and was gearing up to make another video on the game. I documented a couple spots that you visit throughout the story, but now it was time to roam the world, looking for spots that the game doesn't draw your attention to. Well, that was what was next, but I never got around to that part of the video planning process. You know why? I had no desire to explore Grand Theft Auto V's world. Now that's not to say I'll never do another video on the game. Sometimes I'm just in a mood where certain games don't quite vibe with me. Back then, and still kinda now, I just don't quite feel like exploring this world. You know what I am in the mood to explore though? San Andreas. Throughout all of Vive, I kept thinking back to this game. How, even though I made 3 videos on this game, making it the runner-up to the game that I've covered the most on this channel, right below Xenoblade Chronicles, even though I've spent all that time in this world, I still want to do another tour of it. So today, we're not going to do that. This is not an episode of Video Game World Tours. This is an episode in a brand new series, detailing wonder. So many games evoke such feelings of wonder within me beyond just the spots you can find in them, and I wanted to have an avenue to explore that. Today we're going to break down the vibes of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Welcome to Detailing Wonder. There are 3 aspects that we'll analyze this world through and get to the core of why I like it to this day. And along the way, we'll occasionally compare it to GTA V's world. It's only fitting, considering they both feature the city of Los Santos. The aesthetics of this game are top-notch. If you asked anyone to describe the look of this game, they'll tell you orange. Of course, you don't see this filter across the whole playspace. It changes a bit depending on where you are on the map. But this orange tint is what most people associate the game with. This is so calming, so welcoming. It's a cozy blanket that warms me up. Beyond just my personal preference of liking this look, it is objectively unique. It gives this game a specific style. It's like how scenes in The Matrix had a green tint to them while the characters were in the digital world. Having a defined color like that for your game or movie or whatever, it gives your piece a visual identity. And it creates a strong emotional connection in the viewer's mind. Think of how many jokes you've seen online with a Breaking Bad Mexico filter. That just shows how great of a job those guys did at getting their show to stick in your mind. This look just is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. It makes this game stand out so much more in my mind. Which is why I find it insane that they didn't do this for any other game in the series. GTA 4, I'm willing to give a pass. I don't really think of any specific color when I think of that game, but outside of that, I think it's going for its own thing. It has a unique charm. But GTA 5? Man, this just looks so bland. I mean, it looks good. Like, technically, it's impressive. My computer's fans were up while rendering this, and I can see why. But it doesn't have the sauce. This has the sauce, and this has the sauce, but this doesn't. It lacks any strong, cohesive hook. There's nothing I can point to that feels distinctly Grand Theft Auto 5. And honestly, I probably wouldn't even be going that hard against this game if I were looking at it in a vacuum. But a GTA game from the previous decade has better vibes than this. Hell, it even takes place in the same city. I'm convinced San Andreas looking as good as it does here must be a fluke. There's just no other explanation. I knew that the so-called Definitive Edition, as well as the mobile and older PC port, didn't have this look. That's just insane to me. It always upsets me when a developer remasters one of their games and completely disregards the original style. This is how the game looked at release. It's what people fell in love with. It's what made the game successful enough to warrant a remaster or a remake in the first place. How could you change something so core to that experience? Then my mind was genuinely blown when I learned that the original Xbox version of the game didn't have this filter either. Does that seriously mean that the original PlayStation 2 release is the only version of the game that had this iconic look? Was it a bug? I don't get it. Why would they never try to recreate this in any future version of the game? Is the Xbox version Rockstar's reference point for San Andreas' visuals? I dug a bit deeper and found some people on Reddit talking about it. According to YouTuber guy TJGM, this orange haze exists because the PS2's hardware interprets color values slightly differently than all the other versions. Like the file the game pulls those values from is the same across them all, but the PS2 specifically ends up creating this unique look for some reason. I don't know anything about the PS2 hardware, but TJGM is a YouTuber, so I think we can trust him unquestionably. YouTubers are inherently trustworthy. That was actually surprising to learn. This definitely isn't the way Rockstar wants this game to look. I think it'd be a stretch to call it unintended, because I'm sure some higher-ups at Rockstar took a look at this and decided it looked okay enough. It's not like the game was randomly orange one day. They definitely knew the PS2 version would look like this before release. But knowing that this is how they truly wanted the game to look, it's kinda weird. I spent so much time building up how having a unique look like this can give a game a visual identity, and now I'm learning it was all because of a bug. This is the intended look of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. That's stupid. This is San Andreas to me. I don't care that Rockstar intends for me to see the game without this orange haze. This is the look I'll always associate with it. It's iconic. I guess that goes to show that developers can be kinda out of sync with the players sometimes. One player's unique visual identity is a developer's bug. It's like how George Lucas was always changing the Star Wars movies. The people who saw the movie at release in the 70s loved it for what it was, but George still saw problems with it. He felt like he needed to better convey his mental vision of Star Wars to all of us. But we didn't fall in love with the version of Star Wars in his head. We fell in love with the film released in 1977. That comparison is pretty apt now that I think about it. Both Star Wars and San Andreas had updated versions that the creators called definitive. If you want to watch the original Star Wars on streaming platforms, you have to settle for the version where Greedo shoots first. And if you want to play San Andreas on your PlayStation 5, you gotta play the version with whatever this is. It's not enough for me to say I'm in love with Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I have to specify that I'm in love with Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on the PlayStation 2, because this look is one of a kind. I think this world also stands out to me because it's not super detailed. Don't get me wrong, this was no doubt considered incredibly detailed back in the day, but compared to games now, it's relatively quaint. There was absolutely no clutter on the sidewalks. No benches, no trash cans, no anything. It's so barren. And the geometry is super simple. Like, look at the sidewalk here. It's not raised above or separated from the grass. It's one flat plane with a texture. Buildings are simple too. Most of the detail work is handled in the texture rather than the model. It's a weird combo. The world is detailed. You look at buildings and the textures have a good amount going on. Some of these even look like actual photographs. Doesn't get more realistic than a photo. But then you notice the geometry, and it's so smooth. While the textures imply depth, there actually isn't any. It's all flat. That contrast of highly detailed textures mixed with low polygon geometry is a staple of this era. And that's saying nothing of all the nature you can explore outside of the three main cities. There are no photorealistic textures here to distract you from the simplistic geometry of this game. You can literally see the polygons. Worlds in modern games have so much detail at finer levels these days. You'll rarely find perfectly flat chunks of terrain like this. It's all about microscopic dips and slopes everywhere. This is charming. It's cute to think about how this was revolutionary for the time. The fact that there was this huge open world for you to explore, and you really could go anywhere. You have no reason to walk around a lot of these nature areas, but the game doesn't stop you. There isn't an invisible wall cordoning off the play space. It's all the play space. It's kinda hard to put into words why I prefer the low-detailed world of San Andreas to GTA 5. With more detail, I think it's easy to kinda get lost in the sauce. There's so much to notice in any given spot, it's hard to really find one aspect that sticks out. Less detailed worlds like this have to be more efficient. The developers need to be super considerate of the amount of polygons and the size of textures they use. They gotta make them count. And they do in this game. It's impressive that this world is as detailed as it is, considering when it came out and what it's going for. Even if it does feel relatively plain by modern standards, it's fun to just drive around, to be in spaces that don't have a lot of purpose. Someone in the Discord recently was clowning on the whole empty space thing that I like to dabble in sometimes. It got me thinking about why I like places like this, why I'm drawn to spots in games with not a whole lot going on. I don't have a good answer to that. It's not really unsettling. I'm not scared being in a spot like this. It's more so comforting. I couldn't tell you why, but I just feel it. It's such an innate primal urge that I struggle to communicate it. I did feel that feeling every now and then in Grand Theft Auto 5. I came across some areas that had some great vibes. But there's nowhere near the amount that this game has, and I think the lower graphical fidelity plays a large part in that. The final reason I like this game is the size. Grand Theft Auto 5's map is roughly 3.5 times bigger than this one. And think about that. There's only one major city in 5, Los Santos. San Andreas has that too, but it also has San Fierro and Las Venturas. I beat the story of 5. I played my fair share of GTA Online over the years. I have 122 hours in the game on Steam, and I probably had maybe 40 or so in the PS3 version at launch. I've spent a good amount of time in this version of Los Santos. I still get lost driving around this place. If you told me to get to Michael's house from a random point in the map, I couldn't do it to save my life. There's so many streets, they all look the same, and they connect in weird ways. The city is just too big. I only played through San Andreas once, 35 hours. I'm pretty confident I could get to Grove Street from any point in the map relatively quickly. I might lose some time in the mountains of this map, but if you dropped me in any of the cities and told me to drive to one of the mission givers, I could do that in a heartbeat. My mental map of this game is so much stronger than my mental map of 5. I think the fact that there's no GPS telling you what streets to take to get to your waypoint helps with that a lot. You see the cardinal direction your mission is in, and you just navigate that way, going straight and taking turns when you deem fit. You chart your own path there. But more than that, I think, this world is just smaller. It's still big, don't get me wrong. It's only a little smaller than Skyrim, surprisingly enough. I definitely didn't think it was that big. But compared to GTA 5, it's tiny. There's less city to keep in your brain. It's easier to remember landmarks and streets when there's not as many of them. The map of San Andreas efficiently etched its layout into my brain in 35 hours, where GTA 5 couldn't do it in 160 plus. It would be foolish of me to not bring up nostalgia in this discussion. I didn't play San Andreas as a kid. Hell, I didn't even have a PS2. But I have a fondness for this era. I've been using my adult gaming time to catch up on PS2 titles I missed out on as a kid. Ratchet & Clank, Shadow of the Colossus, Dirge of Cerberus for some reason, and of course, Grand Theft Auto. I dig the vibes of games from this era. There's something about the blurry visuals and simplistic worlds that I love. If I'm being honest, it reminds me of a childhood I didn't have. I walk around the forests of this game, thinking of all the time I could have spent roaming this space looking for Bigfoot. All the rampages I could have went on in the city. All the random little spots I could have had core memories in. But I'm an adult now. I don't look at games the same way I used to 20 years ago. When I wrote the rough outline for this video, I wanted my final talking point to be about if a future Grand Theft Auto could ever bring back a world like San Andreas. But after writing all that out and discovering my feelings for this game, I think it's obvious that it could never happen. Grand Theft Auto 6 won't look like this. It's not going to have less detail than 5. And it's definitely not going to be any smaller. Games are about being bigger and better these days, looking more like real life than real life itself. Rockstar is never going to scale back and make a more quaint world like this. Grand Theft Auto 6 will feel more like Assassin's Creed Shadows than it does San Andreas. More than anything else though, nostalgia won't let anything live up to this game. Nearly everything I've talked about in this video can be boiled down to the fact that this game came out in 2004. Pretty much every point I just made about why this game looks good is because of console limitations. It's a product of its time. By playing the PS2 version of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, it's like I'm being transported to 2004. This game is a time machine, and I think that's wonderful. Thanks for watching, Pretizens. Have a good one.